Hello and welcome back to our next Kingdoms Rise video. Today we've got huge news as we bring to you footage of the first patch update. It's exciting news and James and I are going to show you exactly what that entails.
Yeah, so they fixed many of the big issues that were affecting us in the pre-patch game, but there are still a few bugs that are still lingering in the game that still need to be addressed. It's also worth mentioning that we aren't going to cover everything that's been patched, only the things that we think really sort of make the game now playable where it wasn't really before.
Yeah.
But you can find a link to the whole update list in the description below.
Yep. Check there for the patch notes. Off topic, a bit contrary to what James just argued there. Essentially, they have added a sort of a more of a menial addition in that the character customization has been sort of augmented. There are more items to choose from. Nothing of of huge importance or particular note, but I'll let you play around with that and have a look for yourselves.
Yeah, it's probably the kind of thing that they're going to be adding more and more of every time they release a patch, just obviously to
Yeah, definitely.
increase the uniqueness of your character, as it were, increase the amount you can customize.
Yeah, I mean, upon first impressions, the game was pretty customizable anyway. They still haven't addressed eyes, face, skin, or gender, but as the forum consensus illustrates so far, that they are looking into these particular issues. With regards to settings, if you're still concerned that they're not saving, have no fear. They're sometimes saving for me, they're sometimes not, so you're not the only one worrying. I don't know, I'm sure that's being addressed at the moment by the devs, but we'll just have to wait. So what we'll do now is we'll head into this new mode that's been introduced called Tutorial, where you can practice with your character. You can sort of test its spells, its swords and whatnot, and all the cool stuff, just so you can get a feel for how they move around, which I think is quite important before getting into a game.
Yeah. It is quite hard to work out everything that's going on once you
definitely.
are in game.
This link here will provide you with some video demonstrations on actually how to play the game. I'd recommend having a look at these rather than watching buffoons like us attempt to play the game. But if you still like watching two idiots, then please continue to watch. So we'll head into the tutorial open practice range now and see exactly what that includes. Right, so here we are in tutorial mode. As you can see, you've got a lot of open space and you've got a number of dummies over here to practice. I seem to be a bit green, but I'm sure that's just an armor bug. As you can see, they're heads of melons, which is always good to see. I'm rather hungry and...
You can't seem to break them.
No, they are not...
I'm getting slowly closer and closer, just trying to make sure I'm actually hitting it. Not breaking.
So you can... you're at liberty in this arena to test your different abilities and sort of the way your character moves. Like, for example, I didn't know until today that if you press Control, you do a little roll, which is quite nice. Here you get the archery range. So if we switch to the bow, you can sit here and practice. The aiming's quite, you've got to get used to it. It's a large circle in which you're aiming with.
There's no real sort of midpoint that you can actually reference as to where you're actually looking.
No, but as you can see, that's
so it's a bit hit and miss at the minute.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's going to be fixed.
Yeah.
Whilst we're in this mode, it is worth showing you some other features that were fixed. For example, the stealth. As you can see, I'm in stealth now, and I am invisible. Whereas before, the armor pieces were a bit bugged, and you'd sort of see floating shoulder pads walking around.
It was normally just the shoulder pads.
Yeah.
Everything else was fine, but obviously now it's all...
Yeah.
All works fine.
And my other spell, this thing called Magic Immunities, had a fix whereby you are now immune to everything apart from a sword slash. So, I mean, I've shown you what it looks like here in the tutorial, but we'll jump into a game and we'll sort of put some of these to the test. But those are some of the fixes we've noticed, including the fairly cool new tutorial session. So we'll hop into a game and see what we can discover. So quickly before jumping into a game, as you can see, we are on the sort of playlist, and we can use this quick join feature, which apparently has had a fix, and it sort of puts you into games more appropriately regarding, I presume, your region. I think we've got the 3 regions over here.
Yeah, it can't really be level based because there aren't any levels in the game at the minute. So that's what we're assuming.
But the server browser itself apparently has had a few changes. It's more accurate in letting you know which players are in the game. Although there seems to be a lot of empty, a lot of empty maps. With this map having
There are a
minus
few empty
14,
ones. But
but
there's a
there's
minus 14
yeah,
still.
but there are
Well,
certainly more servers up, which is brilliant. I mean, in fact,
yeah,
look how long I've just
yeah.
scrolled down. So we'll jump into a game. Which one do you think? Right, so we jumped back into a game. James will start with a couple of points, but we'll sort of, as I said, go through the update list and go through notable features.
Yeah, so the first two things that you come across when you're in game is that you no longer auto aim your teammates. Um, Not that I really understood where that was before, because I've never really come across an auto aim, but apparently that's been fixed. And also, a bad thing for Dom, team killing no longer gets you points. So all those, all the future team kills of him killing me will count for nothing, unfortunately for him.
That is unfortunate. One thing I have picked up on then just then actually is the healing has apparently had a nerf in that if you get attacked while you're healing, it will not actually heal you at all. You
You
will,
won't do anything.
yeah, pretty much. I mean, I'm healing now, but this is it's actually really inconvenient because for once I'm actually getting a sort of succession of kills.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really understand. To me, this still looks pretty OP. I'm using the tank sword. There you go. I mean, I had hit the healing button there, but
Yeah, that's something they still haven't added, is it? The descriptions for weapons. That's still missing.
yeah, that is missing definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, I did get killed by my own team there. I'm not quite sure. Right, so we're back in this map. This is kind of a cool map actually. It gives you the
Yeah, I
option
think this
to
is one of my favourites.
sort of climb upstairs into this sort of rundown old house, and you can sort of walk across
Chapel.
this.
Some nice
It's
sniping perches if you can master the bow, that is. So the next thing we should point out is that sprint has been increased by 80. It's not a terribly noticeable difference, though,
bugger.
for me anyway. I think Dom, you've also said you can't really notice much difference.
Yeah, I don't know. I
Um,
mean, maybe it has been, but as I said, I'm usually dead, so I don't really know.
yeah,
And now I'm stuck. But yeah, I mean, if it has, fair enough. But I'm sure it was a worthwhile addition, if
yeah,
anything.
yeah.
Um,
Something that's been affected me in previous games is that after a certain amount of deaths, or just after randomly after a death, um, my abilities will just lock out. I think I mentioned it in one of the videos. I get red crosses just over my abilities, my ability markers, and I just can't use them again for the rest of the game. That's been fixed, so that's obviously a very important fix, because that's the lack of being able to use your in-game abilities obviously is a huge disadvantage.
oh, definitely, yeah. I still don't know if there's anything that's particularly overpowered. If you are watching this and you know of something that definitely should be
Nerfed,
nerfed to hell,
or
then
contrarily, powered
needs
up.
needs an improvement, then definitely let us know and we'll sort of try and include that. As you look at me there, I've noticed as well. They said in the patch notes that there's an increase in the amount of blood shed,
Yeah,
which I
yeah,
think is a nice addition. As you can see, I am rather coated in blood at the moment,
yeah.
and I just got brutally murdered.
We,
But
we should point out there is in the settings menu there is an option to turn violence on and off. Although I'm not entirely sure that does anything right now.
I don't know.
'Cause
But I think
mine's off at the minute, and I'm still getting covered in blood. So
you'd be mad,
yeah,
really,
you would
to
be.
not play
It's not
with.
really the kind of game which you can play without violence. I don't think.
it's it's sort of like saying, well, I don't know what it's like saying, but I couldn't imagine playing this game sort of in any soft core type of. All right, come here, you. I've had enough of your antics. I've had enough. I've got so many on me that it's just unfair.
Mm.
Yeah, that was a bit unfair, to be honest. But you know, that's the way the world
Cookie
works.
crumbles, yeah. So for anyone who's wondering whether they should get the game, I think it's definitely worth it. Even if you sort of buy it now and then wait for it to be fully bug-free before actually playing it.
Absolutely. And on that rather barbaric bombshell, I think we'll call it. Yes, I just got
Yeah.
ruined. So again, If you like the video, let us know. Continue watching, stay tuned, subscribe,
Keep
and
an eye out because we'll put up a new video every time they release an update for this, obviously
definitely.
to tell you what's gone on.
So we will catch you next time.
Cheerio.